Hey everybody, welcome to my latest video. We're back in the water tank. Keri is back to help and it's a massive transformation. I'm really so pleased to see how far this project has come from being a really dirty, messy, horrible, leaky water tank to something that is clean and plastered and looks really cool. Does it hold water? I don't know yet. I have to wait for everything to cure before I can fill it up. But it looks pretty sexy, and though it's been a lot of hard work, it's definitely been worth it, and I'm excited to share the progress with you. So have a watch of the video. I hope you enjoy this one, and I'll see you again at the end. So the two little supervisors have been down in the tank exploring what I'm doing, chilling out in the shade, and just generally being super cute. While I have been getting extremely gross. Let me show you what I've been up to. I've basically been ripping off this weird fiberglass mesh. It's meant to help with cracking. I put it inside the splash pool to help with that, but I also stuck it along here, and it's got all gross, and cleaning it with the brush is really hard without first taking it off. So I've been ripping that off, and I've been basically standing in here, clawing away at all the dirt there. So that's why the spring water is cloudy, and that's why this water is cloudy, because I pumped into here after I drained the tank out recently, because I want to test my master plan. So I need to know if this leaks or not, because this is key to being able to drain the swimming pool from outside the tank. So what I'm gonna do is put this pipe, this madness here, through the wall, probably close to where the old pipe is, hook up the bottom of the pool to that, also hook up the bottom of the spring to that, put a whole bunch of taps, and that means that I can turn taps on and off inside here, and then have one tap out there so I can drain either the pool or the spring out from the outside of the tank. I truly have no idea if any of what I just said makes any sense. As I was saying it, I was confusing myself, but all will become clear tomorrow, hopefully, when Keri comes back, and I put the pipe in, get everything hooked up, and we start to render the walls. I am not sure if I'm making sense because I'm quite tired. I've been in the garden all day. It's really hot. It's quite gross doing all the scrubby stuff in here, and the day is coming to an end. It's about 7 o'clock, so I've been working for a while, and brain no worky anymore. But I came down here to show you one important thing that I'm going to be monitoring. So let me just go into the pool, well, go beside the pool, and show you what I'm talking about. So I've come down here to take note of the level of the water. It's just about 1 centimeter below the overflow pipe. And obviously if I come down tomorrow and it's still there, that means that this thing isn't leaking. And that means that my master plan, as long as I can get this side sorted out, that means that my master plan will work. Are you looking for lizards and frogs and things like that? I think you should leave them alone and go eat your cat food. What do you think? What do you think of this thing? Not into it. So Keri and I have a pretty massive day of work ahead of us tomorrow. I'm hoping we can get it all done. I have a feeling it's going to be another day of work for me on my own afterwards, but we're going to put a really good push on getting this tank rendered, cleaned, and all hooked up so that we can test the pipes out very soon. So I'll see you tomorrow from this water tank, hopefully with a brain that works a little better than it is now, and hopefully with a lot more energy than I have right now. So until then, good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning. I'm feeling refreshed. My brain is working. I've had a good sleep and I'm ready to get to work. Keri's gonna be here in about 30 minutes. There's a slight breeze today, which is normally fine, except I've got a lemon tree filled with lemons, and while I've been working, a few have already bonked me on the head. So I've got some bags. I'm gonna see about picking these lemons off the tree. And I'm also very excited to see that the water level in this tank is exactly where it was when I left it last night. So that means that this thing here is watertight, which is amazing. And I'm also really excited to see that everything over here is dry, which means that this connection that I put here, going all the way to the spring, is taking the water away as it should. There is some water pooling here, and there's some mysterious water here as well, so I don't exactly know what that's about. I'll sweep it out and see if it dries up. But everything's looking really positive for a day of plastering what is right now a pretty scary looking tank. So we've got loads of little lemon flowers blowing off, which isn't great when you're plastering because they're gonna stick to it, but what can you do? And lots of lemons blowing off the tree as well, which isn't great when you're working underneath a lemon tree. So I'm gonna pick as many of these lemons off the tree as I can reach, especially over on this side, so Keri and I can work without fear of a lemon-related head injury. Okay, I've got Keri on lemon patrol. Hi, Keri. And I'm gonna do the dirty work of scrubbing this tank. And I figured I would do it at the same time as I drain this pool, so I have water around to use for the scrubbing. So I'm gonna take this hose from here, lower it down to lower than the tank, and that'll give me a hose. And then I can do a bit of scrubby action. It's gonna be a dirty and annoying job, but it's gotta be done. So I'm gonna finish cleaning the tank. Keri's gonna finish cleaning the lemon tree, and we'll check in again when we're ready to move on to the next step. I don't know yet what that is, but I'll see you soon. So I've been at work cleaning off the scuds from the side of the tank. It's been pretty hard work. Keri's put a little brick in here. She's picked a bunch of lemons, and now I've got her clearing out the little basin before we refill it. Then I'll get her to get the scuzz off the bottom of the pool while I work on making a hole in the tank here. So we have a lot of prep to do before we get to the main event of plastering, and that's just how it is. You want to do one job, but there's hours and hours of prep that often have to happen before you can actually start that job. And it's not the most exciting viewing, so I tend to do that stuff off camera. But we'll do a little drilling to get this pipe out, because that could be mildly exciting. It's something I've been dreading for a while, and it's going to be a massive deal to get that pipe out and the new pipe in. So let's drill. Okay, you get the idea. I'm drilling. I'm gonna keep at it, get this pipe out, and check in again when we're closer to being ready to plaster. And while I've been drilling, Keri's been cleaning and it looks amazing. So I'm gonna get that filling up with the nice spring water, and then we're gonna use that to fill the pool, which is gonna be clean very soon. And then possibly at the end of the day, if it's still sunny and warm, we'll have a little swim. But for now, for me, it's all about this. So Keri and I have had lunch and we're feeling rested. Actually, I'm kind of feeling like I'm sick of working, but it's gotta be done. These walls aren't gonna render themselves. But you can see the tank is nice and clean, at least as clean as possible. I probably should have done a before shot in order to maximize the impressiveness of this feat, but I did not. The pool is nice and clean. We filled it up a little bit, and I'm waiting for the spring to refill a bit more so I can pump more. And my task right now is to put this pipe into that hole. So Keri and I have been flat out at work today, non-stop. We're both really, really tired, but we got loads done. Thanks, Keri. And now we're gonna drink a beer, eat an ice cream, and finish up for the day because we're both really, really exhausted. I almost got my wall done and she almost got her wall done, so I have one more day of work down here to finish everything off, and I really couldn't be happier with the progress. But I'll show you that all tomorrow morning because right now I'm too tired. So I'll see you then. Cheers. Cheers. Good morning. And good morning to you. It was a little too cold and windy out here this morning for the likes of me, so it's actually almost noon. So it's a slow start. The neighbor was out with his tractor, which was super noisy as well. And there's still noises in the background, but that's just the strimmer, so it's not quite as bad. So I'm gonna show you all the stuff that Keri and I did yesterday. We worked really, really hard and we're quite tired by the end of it. And I'm excited to show you. So let's get into the water tank and I'll go over what we did yesterday and my plans for today. I'm gonna need this because Keri did a whole load of plastering yesterday, and you want to keep it nice and wet while it cures. Well, not super wet, but you want to give it a splash a few times a day so it doesn't want to crack. So I'll finish that up momentarily. Let me show you what she did. She got all of this done all the way around, all the way over to here. And that was an amazing effort, especially considering she was doing the mixing by herself. I had fully intended on helping her do the mixing and the plastering, but I got all cut up over on this side, making the wall. And it's quite funny that I started these bricks being super careful, using the level, and then over here I just went rogue and just stuck them on there because it's amazing what a bit of render can cover. So once I actually plaster this, no one will ever see it. And it's probably going to be under some kind of a step anyway that I can lift off to be able to access the piping. So no one will ever know what's happening here, but it's definitely higgledy-piggledy. It's definitely loosey-goosey and very strange. So I'm out of bricks. I can't really work on this part anymore, but I can get back in the tank and finish off this little section here. So that's my plan for today. And Mikey really does like to hang out in the water tank. I think he enjoys eating all of the things he finds down here. I'm working on my own again. Most of the lemons above me are off the tree, so I won't be in fear of a head injury. And I'm excited to get started and hopeful that I can do something close to the same standard as Keri's wonderful work. I don't know if it was a smart idea to do the tops of this, because my dad's going to be covering it up with the deck anyway, as far as I can tell by his design, but he can always just chip it away where he needs to. I just feel like it looks a lot nicer this way in the meantime. I'm not entirely sure why this water hasn't really drained. I don't have a proper sized broom to push it out, but this little guy will do the trick, I suppose. Maybe it's just that I had so much water here from yesterday that it's taking its sweet time, because this part seems to be working. So the water will be coming directly from the spring through this hose and out. Or maybe this needs to be tilted up a bit more. I did have a rock under this last time, so perhaps that's the culprit. So I'll sweep the water out as best as I can, because I'd much rather be working in a water tank that's dry rather than standing in a puddle. So I'll see if I can get rid of this water. I'll whip up a mix, and then we'll get plastered. Okay, she is plastered. Well, the walls are plastered. The floor needs some attention. I'll talk about that in a moment. But first, let's give it a little score so that the next layer of render, which will be the final layer, will stick better. This layer of render is basically just to cover up all of the craziness, all the imperfections, and to make sort of, I guess, the final shape of the tank. I tried to do some rendering quite a while ago, and it was not ideal. It was quite crazy, and now it's all hidden beneath this lovely layer that Keri did most of, and that I'm just finishing up now. And then I'm going to mix up a render of fine sand. So this one's coarse sand. Fine sand, cement, I guess lime. I don't know. I have to look the mixture up online. But this mixture here that I've used is actually 6 sand, 1 cement, and 1 NHL5 lime. And that's just because a bunch of people online suggested that mix. So that's what I went with, and I enjoyed using it. And so whenever I do the next layer, the final layer, I'll consult the internet. Watch out, little ant. I'll consult the internet again and see what it tells me. But when I do the final layer, I'll try to make it as smooth as possible so it's easy to clean. And I'll also add some sort of a waterproofing agent in there as well. Might be overkill because this thing has been leaking for 3 years and has still served its purpose. But if I can get it as good as possible, why not? Honestly, I really couldn't be happier with the progress that Keri and I have made over this past week or so. This project has been ongoing for around 2 years now, including the making of the splash pool. I have a whole playlist up there that you could watch if you're interested in seeing what this water tank area looked like at the very, very beginning, and it was drastically different. Ooh, that's quite nice. Actually, let's go under here. Let's go into the shade. Let's have a little seat. Because why not? I've got a little elbow rest here. Can chill out. But it's hard for me to hold the tripod with my left hand, so I won't do that. The tank has haunted my dreams for a really long time, but slowly, step by step, I've made little improvements, little repairs here and there, and I could see the difference, that it was holding the water a little bit better each time. It's not a problem in the winter. The problem in the winter is what to do with the overflow, which was just turning the whole area around the tank into a swamp. The main problem was the summer, where the water wouldn't flow quite as quickly, and because of all the leaks, the tank wouldn't reach sort of the minimum depth to be able to use the pump. So it left me stuck a few times, struggling for water. So just having water security is amazing. Having an overflow going somewhere else, possibly to some other storage tanks down the land eventually, will be great. Having the ability to drain things out separately will be great. I had a plan, and it seems like somehow it's all working out as expected. I haven't tested any of the pipes for leaks or anything yet, so this could still all go completely sideways, but for the moment, I feel good. However, I do have a few things I want to show you. I've had some questions, and hopefully I can address them. So let's take a little wander around the tank, and I'll explain what's up. So I had somebody ask me why I bothered removing the pipe section that was here and replacing it with a different pipe. The reason is, well, there's 2 different pipes in there now. The reason is that this entire system that I've put above ground for the moment was underground, and it had a whole bunch of leaks all throughout the system. Who knows how long it's been there. I know for sure that it got ran over by a lawnmower in the past, and it was repaired. I know that a whole bunch of stuff was leaking in this area and also further down the land because I saw it. So I thought it would just be better to replace the entire thing, bypassing the old system and eventually digging it out. And the reason I didn't just attach this new pipe system to the old pipe was because the old pipe that I took out was actually buried under a whole bunch of concrete, and I had no idea what was going on under there. I didn't know if the pipe was still good, and so I just thought it would be easier to replace everything and then worry about bashing the old pipe out. So imagine in the future this pipe will be gone and this will just be a drain hole. I can control the flow of that and plug up the tank by turning the taps on and off out there. Previously I had sort of a sketchy plug thing that was a piece of wood with a t-shirt on it or something, and I'd have to pull it in and out to control whether or not the tank stayed full or not. With this one, I can do everything with the taps. So that's an improvement for sure. And then this pipe, it's going to be hooked up to a system of hoses that are going to connect to the plastic thing here, and there'll be another plastic thing over there at the spring. There'll be taps on either of these, and then there'll be a tap out here. So it's quite likely that this tap will always be open, and then this tap will be closed. And so when I want to drain the pool, I'll open the tap and the pool will drain independently of the tank, because the end of this hose will be hooked into a bunch of stuff and then eventually hooked into that. This one will always be closed because I can't really see a reason that I would need to drain the spring independently of the rest of the system, but I still wanted that option because you never know. So in here there's going to be some taps and some hose action happening. It'll all be underneath the deck, and my dad's going to design the deck in a way that it can be lifted off, or parts of it can be lifted off, so that I can clean the tank in the future and also have access to these future taps. So basically, doing this work will allow me to fix leaks in the tank, and it'll also give me a lot more control over how the water moves around my land and from which parts of the tank it comes out. I'm not going to worry about the floor of the tank or the final render for the next week or so. I'm going to fill this bad boy up in a couple days when the cement has a chance to cure. I'm going to test out all the pipes, make sure none of them are leaking, tighten things up, and fingers crossed everything goes to plan. But it seems like things are looking good, and if there's any repairs, I think they'll be pretty minor. So that's it for the water tank work for the foreseeable future for me. My dad will be down here. They arrive in a few days, and he'll be down here building a deck over top of this, which is going to be a really exciting project. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he has in mind and excited to share that. But for now, I'm going to switch focus to some other stuff, especially the garden, and you won't see me in here for a little while. I've enjoyed it, but I'm definitely ready to be out of this water tank and working on some other things. So I hope you've enjoyed the past few videos with water tank work. I've enjoyed having my friend Keri here helping me. Thanks, Keri, for all your help. It's been amazing. I couldn't have done it without you, and I truly mean that. I would have been really struggling to get this massive job done on my own. So I'm waffling on as usual. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe, share it around, and I'll see you in the next one.